Sometimes a player's importance isn't defined by how many games he starts, but by how many problems he solves. And right now, Matt Shaw might be one of the most intriguing puzzle pieces on the Chicago Cubs roster heading into 2026. Because this isn't just about where he plays, it's about what his role says about the direction of the team. The arrival of Alex Bregman changed the infield picture almost overnight. Suddenly, the path that once looked clear for Shaw at third base isn't as straightforward. And that shift forces a bigger question, not just for the coaching staff, but for Shaw himself. What kind of player is he going to be for this team? But before we go deeper, if you enjoy Cubs analysis that looks beyond the lineup card and dives into the strategy behind roster decisions, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. It really helps the channel grow and keeps these breakdowns coming. Now, back to the story, because what makes Shaw's situation so fascinating isn't uncertainty, it's possibility. On paper, he's a player without a fixed position, but in reality, he might be exactly the kind of player modern teams value most, someone who expands flexibility instead of limiting it. We saw flashes of that last season. Defensively, he proved he could handle third base at a high level, even earning recognition as one of the best gloves at the position. That alone already gave him value. But the Cubs don't seem to be thinking small when it comes to Shaw. Instead, they appear to be testing just how far his versatility can go, not only across the infield, but potentially into the outfield as well. And that tells you everything about how the organization views him. They don't just see a backup, they see an asset. And that distinction matters. And if you're a loyal Chicago Cubs fan, this channel is for you. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Because over a 162-game season, versatility isn't just convenient, it's strategic. Players need rest, injuries happen, matchups change, and the teams that navigate those realities best are usually the ones with players who can shift roles without disrupting the overall balance of the roster. Shaw could become that kind of player. Not the everyday headliner, but the connective tissue that keeps everything functioning smoothly. The type of piece that allows a manager like Craig Counsell to be creative, to adjust lineups, manage workloads, and maintain consistency over the long grind of a season. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. Versatility sounds great in theory. In practice, it can be demanding. Learning multiple defensive roles, adjusting positioning, staying ready without guaranteed playing time, it requires a specific mindset. And Shaw seems to understand that. He's openly embraced the idea that opportunities can appear anywhere on the field. That mentality alone gives him a chance to carve out a meaningful role, even on a roster that looks crowded at first glance. So the question isn't whether he'll play, it's how impactful those opportunities will be when they come. Because if he proves capable of contributing across multiple positions, even occasionally stepping into the outfield, he doesn't just secure playing time. He becomes a tool the Cubs can use to navigate the season more efficiently. And teams with players like that tend to age better over a long year. There's also a bigger picture angle here. The Cubs have a recent history of players who thrived because of versatility, guys who didn't fit into a single box, but instead gave the team options, and in doing so, often became more valuable than traditional starters. Shaw has the chance to follow that path, not by replacing anyone, but by making the roster more adaptable, more resilient, more capable of handling the unpredictable rhythm of a baseball season. And if his bat takes even a modest step forward, that value only increases. So as we look ahead to 2026, the storyline around Matt Shaw isn't about uncertainty. It's about evolution. Can he turn versatility into consistency? Can he transform scattered opportunities into a defined role? And can his flexibility become one of the subtle advantages that helps the Cubs stay competitive deep into the season? Because sometimes the players who shape a team's identity aren't the ones with fixed positions. They're the ones who make every position a little easier to manage. Do you see Matt Shaw becoming a true super utility weapon for the Cubs this year, Or do you think he'll eventually settle into one primary role? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you see his fit on this roster. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe so you stay on top of everything happening with the Cubs. Let's go, Cubs!